Do you fish? No. You know, people who don't fish think that fishing is lazy or boring, but it is the complete opposite. There are 100 little decisions to be made, variables to be considered, and you're never quite sure what made the difference. Did I cast too high, too far to the left? Did I reel it in too slow or too fast? Is the lure too shiny or too dull? Do I stay here or should I go over there? And you know it's not luck, but you do not know by how much. Because I am never disappointed out here, because I don't expect anything, because anything is possible. I can be hopeful out here, even in failure. Because I know if I just go out there around that tree, it might be different. Something might be different. Something I do might make a difference.
A sniper's dream, 100 nights of memory. He has me forehead, and after head goes grace vertical. No matter who he races, he's gonna have a head start. Frontal glow, remembers what happened to Mom. His father stands on the second floor. Why can you still see his fall? And with the comments open, shut his eyes. He got a lot on his mind. He's been told to hold that fort all his life. No sweat tries before it reaches his eyes. He needs brains, those imaginations in 4K Ultra HD. If you drew an inch on his forehead, Bobby would survive. His forehead says 6'5", but his eyes say 5'9". The most epic heroic song of all time. Bro's forehead has a national anthem. Bro knew this would happen.
Hell yeah! Angler's Choice, baby! Johnny Morris! White River! Ranger! Triton! Nitro! Let's go, baby! Woo!
What the hell is even that?
You're listening to Fishing the DMV with your host, Thomas Ahrens. Fishing the DMV is brought to you by Jake's Bait and Tackle, located in Winchester, Virginia.
If that doesn't get you jacked up, I don't know what will.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Monday Night Live, the last one of the year. December 30th. What a year it's been. I had no idea how I wanted to do this show because I kind of blew my load earlier with the massive 4-hour thing that we did, ranking all of the bodies of water in the area. Part 1 dropped last week. Part 2 is going to drop January 1st. I'm thinking is what I'm going to do. Yeah, New Year's Day. That's what I'm going to do. So, yeah, 4 hours we spent talking about that. And what I should have done was part 2 tonight, honestly. But I was so passionate about actually doing part 2 of that while it was still fresh, so I got up on Christmas Eve and did it. Thanks to everyone also for all the birthday wishes. I see that in the chat. The Chatterbait King himself, that's not the right one. Whoops, sorry. The Chatterbait King himself, thank you, boss. I really appreciate it. I had a wonderful birthday. Got a new laptop that I'm going to be hopefully getting up here probably next weekend to get ready for the seminar season. If you guys don't know, make the announcement right now. Fishing the DMV is taking over the social media for the Raleigh Fishing Expo and the Richmond Fishing Expo. So we will be simultaneously streaming to our platforms along with the Richmond Fishing Expo's Facebook page and their other social media outlets. So as always, we go booth to booth, interviewing all the people there, giving you a POV on the ground, generally speaking on the Friday of the show when there's less foot traffic. And then we'll be doing some in-person interviews as well throughout the week. So Raleigh Fishing Expo in a week and some change. And then, of course, before Martin Luther King Day, we'll have the Richmond Fishing Expo. Richmond Fishing Expo, we are booth 103 in the corner next to the Bass Federation casting kids. At Raleigh, we're in the lobby. So if you're in the Raleigh area, down in the North Carolina border area, as soon as you walk in, you're going to be seeing us there. First time going down there, so I'm super, super excited about that. Bucktail Fishing, does anyone know if Jake's is doing a kayak expo? Again, haven't seen any posts. Yeah, they're kind of go with the flowish when it comes to scheduling stuff. Right now, I believe they said it's February 27th, whatever that weekend is what they're tentatively planning. as soon as I get information on that, I'll let you know as well. I believe they reached out to Mike Ortega of IBKBA to talk to him about that. That's kind of out of my hands. It's based on them to schedule it, and based on what they say, I will just show up and I'll be there to help out. So I'll let you guys know about that as that comes and goes. So yeah, there's some things I want to talk about, just New Year's resolutions, what people want to get done in 2025 and what they think of their 2024. I was thinking of reading this article out here about forward-facing sonar rules for all the different organizations and divisions, whether it was kayak or whether it was boat. But honestly, screw that. I don't want to talk about that because it's just the negativity there. Don't want to talk about that. Have another article we could talk about Leesville Lake that I was going to bring up, but I'll save that for a little bit later because I want to try to get into some good vibes and prove the YouTube algorithm wrong, that it's not just about talking about controversial stuff. And so what I really wanted to lead off with then is the tournament. We had the second tournament I've ever run in my whole life for the Patreon, the Mary Bassmas tournament on Tourney X that we ran from Black Friday until my birthday, December 28th. I was very, 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 very excited with the turnout and everything. I didn't know how people would think about it with our tournament. I didn't know if we'd get anybody to actually want to join, but I was, again, proven wrong. We had over 29 anglers compete over the month, and there was 181 bass caught. And so let me just share my screen real quick. I'll give you the Tourney X standings. And here we go. So let's get into this bad boy here. This was absolutely, there we go. Absolutely insane. We had Mr. McCluskey with 171.25 inches for his best 8 with this tournament. Because we had it over a month, I didn't want to just do your best 5. I wanted to force you to get out there and really, put your foot on the pedal to actually have a chance to do well at this. So 171.25 inches to win that thing. Mr. McCluskey, McJesus is also his name. Yeah, absolute stick he is, wins this event. And then you have Bruce Callis. He came in second, so close to McChicken with 169.75 inches. Then you have David Hart with 162.25 inches, and then Sam with 151.75 inches, and then we have Mickey in 5th place with 144.75. We took largemouth and smallmouth for this event. In the event we did before that, it was a little different. What we did, we actually went with trash fish. Some would consider, I consider just fun fish, which would be like the rock bass, sunfish, things like that. This was just smallmouth and largemouth. The other thing that we did is I separated out a ton of big fish winners. I wanted to have a big fish winner for Pennsylvania's biggest smallmouth, Maryland's biggest smallmouth, and Virginia's biggest smallmouth. And then we had, I believe we ended up paying out 3 big largemouth as well for this event. Absolutely fun. I'm going to go with the largemouth first because this was absolutely insane. Of course, Bruce had a 23-inch. It was insane. It was absolutely disgusting looking. Bruce came in second and first with a 22.75 inch for second place. And then third place was McCluskey with a 22.5 inch. Smallmouth wise, for Pennsylvania, the smallmouth was 21.25 inches. Mickey absolutely killed it with that. For Maryland, Sam had a 20.75 incher. And then for Virginia, Brad Carter had a 19 incher. Pretty sure that was Shenandoah for Brad. Everyone did extremely well for using the app for the very first time. I was surprised with that. And I also got to show off this fish here. Let me see if I can get this bad boy up here for him. This thing is massive. My God, Bruce. That thing is huge. It looks like a land whale. I cannot believe you caught that thing. Absolutely insane how big that sucker is. So there are the standings for the tournament, and I'll be getting you guys your prizes and your awards here in the upcoming days. For a lot of you that are going to the Richmond Fishing Expo, let me know. And what I can do is I will take your plaque with me, and you can just pick it up at the Richmond Fishing Expo. I'll be there all week doing my thing, so I'll keep it at the booth. When it comes to your payouts, don't worry about that. I'll send that out to you hopefully this week. I'll get in touch with each of you and make sure you get your pay. If you can pick it up at Richmond Expo, that's great because then I don't have to pay a bunch of shipping and handling crap. So if that works, great. If not, no biggie. So great tournament. Absolutely enjoyed that. I'm learning a lot about doing the whole tournament director thing as well. And then Bruce said, "Are we talking about the ribbon for the Halloween tournament or the ribbon for this event?" Because if it's for this event, we ended up going with the plaques. And so, Bruce, you get 2 plaques. You get a plaque for Big Fish, and you get a plaque for second place. So you got a lot of hardware, plus, money, which is always good. Money is always great. Yeah, and so this is a good question here by Bruce. For the last tournament, the ribbon person fell apart, but I found a person that did all these plaques for me for under $100, which was insane. So I'm getting with them, and I'm going to make custom plaques for everyone who did the Halloween event. So because the ribbon thing fell apart, you're all going to get custom plaques because that was our first derby. So it'll take a little bit longer, but the difference between these plaques and the Halloween one, since you guys were the OG, those plaques will have your names on them for the position that you've went in and all that. So they'll take a little bit longer to get, but they'll be a lot cooler for the people that participated in the first ever tournament that I ever did, which was a lot of fun. So again, guys, thank you so much for doing that. That was a lot of fun. The next tournament that we have is going to be, and you know what? I'll just make this announcement now. How about this? We'll make this announcement to the whole world, not just Patreon members, right now, right here. The next tournament, drum roll, please, as I get this up. Boom. The next tournament is going to be the Frostbite Frenzy. It's going to go from January 25th to March 16th. January 25th to March 16th. Hopefully by the end of this week, I will have that tournament up if you would like to register for it. This one's going to be also a little different from the last one because I learned something new every single time I'm a tournament director. Tourney X, it doesn't have at least I could be completely incompetent as well, but it doesn't have a spreadsheet feature. So what I did this past tournament, because I decided to have a Pennsylvania biggest smallmouth, a Virginia, Maryland, blah, 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 I took it and made a separate spreadsheet. And I just, as they rolled in, I kind of categorized them. And so I feel pretty comfortable with that after trying that out this time. So we are going to have a couple of overall winners, first, second, third place for overall. But then I'm making a separate category, which is overall smallmouth winners. Because let's face it, if you're trying to compete against Bruce or you're trying to compete against Mr. McCluskey catching these 10-pound largemouth, it's hard for river rats to have a chance, which I hear you. And I know I separated out your Big Fish Awards, and I'm also now going to separate out an overall winner. So if you're fishing the Upper Potomac, the Susquehanna, the Shenandoah River, fear not. Now you can compete for an overall winner in the smallmouth category. The only key with this is that, if you catch a largemouth, that's the issue. It has to be all brown ones to make you eligible for the smallmouth overall winner. But more to that will come when I make the tournament available with all the rules and stuff. But we'll have an overall winner, which will probably be just largemouth, you could say, and then we'll have a smallmouth basically standing. Since I feel pretty confident after this past tournament trying to keep a spreadsheet of the PA smallmouth people, the Upper Potomac smallmouth people, the Shenandoah, I feel confident about that now. I'm going to be able to do that for an overall prize as well. So that'll be fun. And I'm really surprised that the Upper Potomac in this event did extremely well. Like you think when you say the Susquehanna River, people were really nervous that the Susquehanna was just going to just completely kick ass and it's going to just take everything. That wasn't the case. The Upper Potomac and the Susquehanna were very competitive with each other. And again, I'm going to say the Susquehanna is, of course, the Susquehanna. It's the big leagues there. But it wasn't like you were just screwed if you were fishing the Upper Potomac. The Upper Potomac's got some big smallmouth in it. I was a little shocked that the Shenandoah didn't turn out as well. Just looking at where people caught fish in the sense of, I was just shocked that there weren't more fish that came from the Shenandoah watershed when it came to the smallmouth. But the largemouth, my God, this is the one thing I love about doing these winter tournaments is you didn't catch as many fish as in the October event, but every time you guys caught one, my God, it was a big one. The fish that Bruce and we had a couple of other people, as some honorable mentions in the 22 fish plus category. I could probably pull this up actually. And if I was an intelligent TV host, I would have actually already done this by now. Another birthday. Yours is hard to remember. Yeah, Steve, it's pretty crazy that you and I share the exact same birthday. And again, thank you so much for the birthday wishes. I really appreciate it. Let's see. So we have. I hate dead silence. People ask me, it's like when you do this, how is it you can? It's like I just get so nervous when I hear dead air. It just that bugs the heck out of me when I have absolute dead air. Sure, I get this out for you guys here. That's the smallmouth one. I'm going through my spreadsheet right now, if in case you were wondering what this idiot is doing. I think that is the first, second, third. Yeah. All right. So here we go. So these are the largemouth standings: 23 inches, 22.75, 22.5, 22.25. We had a couple right there with Shane and Bruce McCluskey. Hart. There were the amount of 20 plus inch fish was insane that were brought out this year. Absolutely freaking insane. I think we had more 20 plus inch fish in this event than we did the October one. Just a fun little thing to mention there. So, and then let's see, the phone line is, if you guys, I'm gonna actually get that up here too while we keep talking. Happy birthday. Thank you, boss. I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. Let me make sure I get that up too. All right, boom. Phone number is up, 667-307-8583. Couple of things I want to get to down at the tournament. I'm gonna have more information about that. The Frostbite Frenzy that's going to be dropping January 25th. We'll talk about that more as it gets closer to the date. I should have that up by the weekend. So anyway, huge shout out to all the Patreon supporters and all the members of the tournament that fished it. It was a lot of fun. Thank you so much for doing it. And the people that came out to the meet and greet, I know I butchered the dates and I'm so sorry about that. That was really, really terrible on my part. Yeah, with that said, I want to kind of get into what we're thankful for and the things that I'm looking forward to in 2025 as well. And Bucktail Fishing is going to start us off here. My biggest goal of this past season and the one coming is to branch out to fish more places. I have to try to make there this season. I 100% agree. And that's the one reason I did that massive list of the best places to go fishing in the area, going from A, B, C, D. And if you guys saw the revised list in that episode, which is absolutely, it was the most fun I've done in a long time, honestly. That was so much fun showing off the different tier lists. Let me see if I can pull this up here. And I'm going to pull this one up again. I know we already did this on another show, but I don't care. Perfect. When we redid this list, I was so shocked at how many awesome places that we have that we can actually do in this area. I mean, just talking about from, let's say, B plus category, there's a lot of fisheries that are considered pretty awesome. You know, from B, A, legendary, there are more fisheries from the B up than there are from the B down. So there's not a lot of places that I would consider dog shit in the area. And the only place that is really considered like the Nye Reservoir, the reason that's considered dog shit is just because the boat ramp is terrible. If they had a good boat ramp, Nye wouldn't even be on there. So it's just crazy where we complain that, you know, these fisheries get pressured and what have you, but there's a lot of high quality fisheries here. And this kind of gets back to Bucktail's point where I want to go and fish way more places starting in 2025, not just fishing tournaments. I want to fish Back Bay. I want to fish the Roanoke River. I want to fish the tidal Rappahannock River some more, especially during frog season. I want to explore the Shenandoah more. I have not fished a lot of the North and South Fork of the Shenandoah. I haven't. I've been a main stem guy my whole life, beating that water since I was a kid. I want to fish more of those places. I want to go fish up at Paw Paw. on the Upper Potomac. Just explore. Like sometimes, even if we don't catch anything, it's just fun to explore new places. Personally, that gets me more excited than like going out, let's say with a professional in the area or a guide on a lake. And it's like, oh yeah, he's fished it a bunch, and I know there's one by the stump, and he points and you throw your bait. That's boring. But it's like, nope, never been here before. We're doing a Jeremy Wade River Monsters episode. It's like that's just like it's because it's that anticipation that anything is possible. It could be bad or it could be the best fishing ever. And to me, that's what makes that area, that's what makes it so cool to go out there and explore. Are we doing a New Year's tournament or are we skipping that? I think for this year, we are going to skip that. I spent my whole, apologies, but I spent my whole birthday getting all the stuff ready for the big plan meet and greet on the 28th or on the 29th, my apologies. So what we're going to do is this year, we're going to skip the New Year's Day tournament. I've learned, again, a lot of lessons about everything. The one is with this tournament, I'm going to give it a little bit more space and probably have the tournament next year end on New Year's Day. So everyone loves these tournaments so far. So we are going to do the Mary Bassmas tournaments next year. It'll start Black Friday and it'll end New Year's Day. I think that's the smartest thing. That's the one thing I completely messed up on for this event. If I could have done it again, I would have had it gone all the way till New Year's Day. I don't know why I decided to end it on my birthday. That was very retarded on my point. So, but that's what I'm going to do next time. That way I can kind of hype it up. And because if I did the New Year's Day tournament, I should have hyped that up and promoted it. So that's completely my fault. And I should have done that. It's funny how many smaller ones there are that didn't make the list because of the size, like Curtis and Fredericksburg. Yeah. And again, Bruce, that's a great point. Let me pull up that list again. I could, yeah, it's funny because when I did this, I did not appreciate all the water we have. I'll pull this up again. I didn't. And it's my fault in that sense. Like I was biting off something I could not have predicted. This episode did one of the best all year, believe it or not. And it was like a 3-hour talk fest. The next one I'm going to upload will probably do just as good, where I talk about this updated tier list that we talk about, doing a B plus and A. These were just the ones we could have conversations about. And this is the issue too with showmanship and the Hollywood kind of like behind the curtain. If I do a lake that is in Appalachia that's 800 acres and 3 people know about it, it could be a great lake and you don't want me to spoil it. That's fine. But we can't have a conversation about it on a live stream. I can't. I mean, there are some places like South Holston. I can pull up data points and things like that, but that's all I can do because I haven't fished it and I don't know somebody. And then Geek came on and he could talk about it. We could have a conversation about it. And there's a lot of places like that in Virginia, Lake Orange, Briary Creek. Briary Creek, though, yeah. I mean, Briary Creek I should have put on the list, honestly. And there's so many lakes around Able Lake. I should have added Able Lake in Fredericksburg. There's so many, Little Creek. Next year, we're going to do this every year, I think is what we're going to do. And I'm just going to keep adding reservoirs to it. And it'll probably become a 5 to 10 hour show, which is perfectly fine. This was the most fun I ever did for a stream, bar none, was just breaking down the waters and having the conversation. Stonewall Jackson. Steve Chaconis talked about that. That should be on there. It's one of the biggest lakes in West Virginia. So definitely going to add to that starting out next year. Bucktail says, I used to live in Orange. Yeah, dude, that place was weird. Because when I was a kid and I fished Lake Orange, it was terrible. It wasn't a really good place. It got beat to hell. Apparently, based on what people have said, it's coming back. I should have put that one to the list. It's so crazy. Like Virginia is so big, and it's funny because if you talk to the guys that just fish tournaments, you would say that there's no bodies of water at all in Virginia to fish. It's like all you got is Smith Mountain Lake, the Potomac, the James, and that's it. Kerr. That's it. There's not a lot of lakes. No, there's a lot of lakes. It's just your pretentious little, but wants it to be 100,000 acres. There's a tons of places to fish in Virginia. A ton. They're just not ones you can have probably a 300 boat tournament on. That I agree with. But when it comes to, I would say kayak/electric boats, Virginia is the shit. I mean, I could see why this, and I believe when I went down to ICAST 3 years ago, the 2 biggest markets at the time was, I think it was Georgia for Torqeedos and electric motors. It was the Georgia and the Norfolk area, Virginia. And this makes sense because there's so many places that if you had a pimped out 16-foot boat or a pimped out kayak, the world's your oyster, man. World is your oyster. So absolutely. And then you have Descent Res is another one. Yeah, that's another great one. Again, all these, I really feel bad because I should have had Chaz on when we did that show because I need somebody to hype up the Norfolk Lakes. Not to give the juice up there, but like, are they dog shit or whatever? Beat to Hell was an accurate description when I lived there. That's been over 20 years ago, though. I have heard it got a lot better. I heard it got a lot better as well, too. Yep, Sandy Res is also good as well, Doug. Yep, I should have put that one on there. It's just with these smaller ones, the hardest thing I ran into was when I was talking to the Bass and Beers guys is like, have you heard about this so we can debate it? No one did. A lot of them, they didn't. And that's where I had to start making hard cuts. We will do this show again next year, and I'm going to add more places. South Holston River, that's another one. I should have had it on there because everyone said like that place is the shit. It's one of the best smallmouth rivers around. I didn't add that. I messed up there. And I love it. Dude, I love the controversy. I love the arguments. I had somebody stop me at Sheets and told me I was a retarded piece of shit because the Juniata, I think I even said it right in front of him, but he said like, yeah, it should have been legendary. He stopped me and said, oh, you're fishing in DMV. This is why your list is wrong. I love it. It's just passionate football fans. And that's what it is. It's literally like when you have all these Redskin fans today being excited, beating Atlanta in overtime, man, they're just passionate about it. And I'm here for it all. Robinson River between Orange and Culpeper has some decent fishing, largemouth and small. I don't think many people pay attention to those smaller rivers. Yeah. And Burton Lake, I should have gotten Burton Lake on there. Lake Brittle, I forgot Lake Brittle. I mean, hell, let's talk about all Sleater's Lake didn't make it. Beaver was closed though, so I can't put Beaver in Leesburg. And that was the thing with Yakagani. I had a lot of Yakagani on that list, and I really was an idiot because Maryland doesn't have a lot of lakes. And I was like, well, let's throw Yakagani on there. And then I remember it's like, oh, the place has no water in it the past year. And I really wanted to make the list about the lakes that I really want it to be about the lakes and how they fished the past year in 2024, not like legendary status, because then it's like, well, the Potomac would never be off legendary, even though it has had really bad years. And I didn't want the legend like Briary Creek. Well, Briary Creek, yeah, did have the PR, but has it been that level every year since then? Who knows? We got some more questions here from Travis. Travis, have you seen the new jig that Roger is working on? I have, Travis. That thing is absolutely badass. I really want to get him on someday to talk about his jigs, but also how to fish a hair jig. Because that him and Jeff Little, man, have really shown me the error of my ways for not fishing that bait. Timmy had himself a day at the Lake Anna Winter Series finale for 2024. And he also has a tournament tomorrow, I believe, going out of Lake Anna. Is it High Point? It's either High Point or Sturgeon Creek. There's a New Year's Day tournament coming off there in about 2 days, I think it is. I keep forgetting what day it is right now. It's been a nightmare. And I want to pull this up because I should have actually already had this memorized. But yeah, I was going to try to get Timmy on the show. Every time he has success, I want to try to get him on the show to pimp him out. But yep, 28 pounds, 28.54 pounds with a 7.98 big fish Leviathan. Absolutely killed it. Let me show this bad boy off here. This is Timmy's weight. Oh, Jeremy Radford. I didn't know he's still in the area. So, yep. So 28.54 and then 21.51. Then there was this guy named Tyler Hypel. I've heard of him, I think, with 20.75 pounds. Matt Streichel. Oh, 2 fish. Yee. But hey, dude, 2 fish. You still got you in the top 15. That's freaking awesome. That's awesome, dude. And then you had a 5.87 striper. That's a pretty big striper. And then almost an 8-pounder. Good God. That is a monster. Let me find these things for you. Where the heck is it? Come on. Where are you? Oh my God. Timmy, what are we doing here, bud? Good Lord. Good God, man. That fish just doesn't. Now, I would really like to talk to Odenkirk. If you guys don't know, I have a deal with the Virginia Department of Wildlife Resources. I am doing a bunch of pre-recorded episodes talking about the fish surveys where they shock all the major bodies of water in Virginia. They're going to be releasing in succession in 2025. I had Odenkirk on the show talking about the F1s, and he swears on baby Jesus that the F1s aren't really showing up yet consistently in tournament bags. They're still too small. In the next 2 years, he says you're going to start seeing them coming in. If you believe Odenkirk's hypothesis on that you're not seeing a bunch of F1s yet, that is a scary, scary thought for Anna on how much it's going to just shoot through the roof. If he's correct and like, oh yeah, the F1s are they're not the 4 to 5 pound range yet. They're getting close. They're not at that 4, 5, 6 pound range. Like, good God, man, that's insane. Because that means all these weights are, generally speaking, northerns. And it's so interesting to me with this lake in particular, how it is a winter lake. You see these weights right now. It explodes like that. These bags are insane. And I remember having Tyler on, Timmy on, SB on, all the Lake Anna studs talking about like the weather's they're not there yet. It's not setting up yet. And then all of a sudden, once it sets up, man, all hell breaks loose with these absolute mega bags. It's so freaking cool. But yeah, huge shout out to you, bud. It's winning is one thing, but when you catch a bag that's almost a dirty 30, that's a good question though. For you guys, you Lake Anna guys, do you want to rather win or break a dirty 30? Now hear me out. Let's say you catch 30 pounds, but you lose. You come in like second place to someone that has 31. Would you rather have that or a win? So Timmy wins with 28, or you can lose with 30. To me, I would say like losing with a dirty 30 is more important because it's 30 pounds. Like no one can take that away from you. Who cares if you get second place? If you can just have to yourself that you have the dirty 30. Everett, if you could only fish one body of water in Virginia for a year, which one would you choose? Oh my God. Yeah, because I have to give my goals. Now I have to go like to the list. If I had to pick one reservoir, shit. I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna break yours down to 2 different ones. I'm gonna go lake and river because there's too many lakes and rivers. I am gonna go with shit. This is hard. Smith Mountain Lake, probably over Lake Anna for the smallmouth factor. I don't know. Lake Anna's fun too. Probably Smith. And then river-wise, I'm probably going to go with the Susquehanna River or the Upper Potomac. No. I'm probably going to go with the Shenandoah. The Shenandoah or the Upper Potomac because it's like close to my house and I'm going to cheat. But I'm going to go close to my house. If I have to pick lake though, that's hard. Shit, that is a hard question, dude. Probably Lake Anna or Occoquan. Occoquan's not close to my house. That's the problem. Now, if you're saying I'm going to like freaking move and stuff like that, but it's like the fun factor. The Smith, the nice thing with Smith is the fact. Well, if you're saying like I can fish Lake Anna consistently, I'm assuming I have a house down there. And that means if I have access to the warm water side of Lake Anna, and I could fish both, I'd say Lake Anna. Screw it, because I could just that'd be fun. Otherwise, I'm probably gonna go Smith. Yeah, that's a hard one. I really want to fish Stonewall Jackson in West Virginia. I really want to fish that. Timmy says every time I go to Smith Mountain, it's blowing 30, and I can catch one fish, and I've been there twice. Dude, it was Phil, the glide bait man, taught me glide bait fishing there. He kicked my ass in the front of the boat on an Occoquan tournament, but he really showed me how to throw a glide bait, and I caught my first glide bait fish there. So it is a really cool lake when it comes to just being. Now again, you can glide bait fish like Anna and places like that. Of course, I wouldn't say like they're a great place to learn it. If I wanted to teach a high schooler like where to throw a mag draft or a glide bait, I'd like literally go to Smith Mountain like in the spring, tie it on. Don't think you'll catch one. So, but that's that. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, Smith is up there. Dock fishing there is fun. Lake Anna is fun too. I will say the best dock fishing lake on this list in general was Deep Creek Lake. I have fished Deep Creek Lake a couple of times, and I will tell you, hand of God, it fishes like Lake Champlain when it comes to every dock has 3 or 4 fish on them. Now, does that lake get beat to hell a lot? Absolutely. It has SAV and it has docks that are kind of structured just like Lake Champlain, where they're the metal poles so they can roll the docks in and out. But they set up in no water. You will have a 4 or 5 pounder in 6 inches of water. It makes no sense. It's not like you're flipping the deeper poles on the Smith or Lake Anna. It's fascinating. I remember because I was going up there this year and last year to go pike fishing, and we were throwing these massive. I started to throw these massive swim jigs for pike, and we caught damn near like 17 to 18 pounds of largemouth, big footballs. And again, it just, I don't know. It's a really, really cool place. Josh, Deep Creek sucks. What? Not even close to Champlain. What are you smoking? What I'm saying is with Lake Champlain's a better lake. I'm saying how they set up there. So when I went to Lake Champlain, the way they set up on the docks at Lake Champlain is a lot of times, at least how I saw they set up on the docks at Deep Creek. They would be in absolute no water. If you had one pole that had a little water on it, you cast it to it, there was a fish. So geographically, that's what I'm saying is it's set up a lot like Lake Champlain. Weight-wise, depth, yeah, no way in hell is it like Lake Champlain. But it's a highland reservoir. It gets colder a lot earlier, things like that. And just like Lake Champlain, in the fall, they put the feed bag on. That is one place where if you had to have a fall tournament, I would go to Lake Champlain in like late September, October, like before it ices over. Like the bite can be really good there. But again, you're 100% right. Lake Champlain, yeah, 100% better. Weights are better, blah, blah, blah. Geographically, I feel like there's a lot of similarities to how the lake is set up, I guess, if that makes sense. But yeah, I could be wrong. When did I fish Deep Creek Lake? I fished Deep Creek Lake in October when we were going pike fishing, basically. And we were just catching free-sized largemouth the whole time. So, or I just had the best day ever possible on Deep Creek Lake was probably it. That could have definitely been it as well. Yes, Josh, Deep Creek Lake in the fall. That's when I was fishing it. I didn't fish it in the summer when it's absolutely beaten to shit by boats and stuff. Because, yeah, I told Antietam Bassmaster, if you're going to have a fall tournament, go to Deep Creek. Don't go to like a Smith or places like that in September. Deep Creek, for some reason, in late September, October, it seems like the bite's pretty consistent. It's not going to suck there. So, but yeah, again, everyone that I've had on talking about Deep Creek, it says in the summertime, it's a nightmare. And in the spring, there's like a month time period that it's not bad. But there's a shit ton of fish there. Let's see. Every time we fished it for the SQTs, it sucked when we have it in late. That's insane that it sucked there. That is crazy. Yeah, let me pull up some pictures. I'll try to find some pictures to show you. Antietam Bassmaster had their tournament there in October, and I think it took 15 pounds to win. It's now, Chris. Oh, the water level. Interesting. Yeah, I was there almost like the week before Halloween. Chris says September, October can suck everywhere. Yes. What I was talking about with Deep Creek is because Deep Creek and Lake Champlain are higher elevation. Well, Deep Creek's higher elevation, but Lake Champlain is up there. Winter comes so quickly that a lot of times that fall bite can be good. If you have places where when fall comes, they will freeze out. When in October though? I was there, I think it was the second, not the second week. I was there the week before Halloween was when I was there. All right, let's see, where's the other question? Have you been to Deep Creek early in the spring? I want to try it out this year. I have not. Josh would be the person to talk about that. I only went there in the fall. Let's see. Yeah, week before 31st of October is a big difference than when we fished it. Yeah, like you have to fish that when the leaves are at its prime. So I got to fish it with the head DWR agent that runs the lake, spoiler, and we were actually chasing like legit monster pike. Let me see if I can pull these up. You know, if I was actually a smart man, I would have had these pictures ready to go for you guys, but here. I'll pull them up now. It's one thing I hate when you do the show is dead time while you're doing something. It literally, People ask me, what gives you the most anxiety? It's when you're on air and you're not talking. It just gives me so much freaking anxiety. All right, here we go. All right. Why are you not showing them all off? Boom, and then I'll go to the last one right here. See, just some pudgy ass fish. And again, look at that. Like we're throwing musky, but we're throwing pike baits. Absolutely gargantuan ones. But maybe it was the size of the baits that we're throwing, because you can clearly see that we're throwing freaking like monster ass baits the whole time. Like that tube was stupid. I cannot believe I caught one on that damn tube. I was flipping the grass line, and all of a sudden, just thud, that thing hits. So I could be completely jaded about about Deep Creek. But again, look at the size of the baits I'm throwing. It was stupid. That Colorado blade, like that, the blade on that Colorado was so freaking big. Absolutely insane. And again, but I went out there and ended up catching him. Like that's the biggest pike I've ever caught in my life. And I'm telling you right now, I can see why that gets addicting, because I was fishing a swim jig. I think it's that one right there, but it's like this big ass swim jig, massive. And I set the hook into that thing, and it was like a cinder block. And that one was the biggest that we caught. We caught a couple more, but I swear to God, it was like setting the hook into a cinder block. And I was using a swim bait rod too. And I feel like I didn't have enough rod to deal with it. But a lot of these fish, I think, where's my, here, and here is last one. And this one I caught on a pike musky swim jig, and I skipped it underneath a dock in 6 inches of water, and he was right there. So again, I don't know what that means. Maybe it's just that they wanted these big pike baits versus the regular baits. Maybe I literally had the best day possible at Deep Creek and no one else can do it. A lot of monster jig size, like a missile monster jig size, pretty much. He gave me these massive musky tied jigs to fish, to work the outside weed edges in the docks for these musky, or for these pike. My apologies. That spinner bait though, man, it was absolutely ripping into my rod, like bowing it. That was the biggest Colorado bladed swim spinner bait I've ever thrown in my life. And it just went slack. And when I set the hook, I thought I had a pike, and it wasn't. And I was just making this thing completely waterboard on the way back, because I had like, was it 50-pound braid to a leader when I was throwing this stupid thing. But again, all just throwing it. Again, I don't know what to tell you. I know based on the biologist that I was in the boat with, they say that this is the best pike lake right now. This is the best pike lake this far south in the world. There is no pike lake better than Deep Creek Lake this far south, which is a neat little thing to say. Like, the only place, you have to go up north to the Canada watershed, Lake Champlain, to get pike this big. So I think that's a pretty cool thing. But I also had a really, really good day catching some largemouth, which is why, again, I kind of put Deep Creek in that weird category. I forget what the hell we were talking about. That's the fun thing about the show. Yeah, so that's a place I'm going to try to be fishing next year in the spring as well. I really want to get up there and fish that. I want to fish Stonewall Jackson as well. That's a place that I really, really want to fish. I also want to fish. I'm going to find that other place I was going to go to. I'm going to fish a lot of rivers. I want to fish the York River. I want to fish Back Bay. I've heard so many cool things about Back Bay. Lake Hyco on the border of North Carolina, Virginia. It's a power generated lake where it will put warm water into the lake, and it's public, unlike the private side of Lake Anna. So that's another place I really, really want to go to as well. We got something else here from Chris. Bet they'd eat a glide bait. Oh yeah, they'd eat a glide bait too. That's a massive pike. Holy, that is what a muskie for a second. Yeah, it looks like a muskie. It's absolutely insane how big they are up there. Like, they are trying to, what they're trying to do at Merrill up there at Deep Creek is they're trying to make it a world renowned pike fishery because of all of the different food they have there, the grass and everything. It sets up really good for them, and it's also a legendary walleye fishery in its right. And there's bass in there too. Could it get better with the bass fishing? I 100% agree they could, but it is what it is. Let's see. All right, sorry. I want to make sure I got through my notes here. So yeah, there's that. So what I'm going to do tournament wise this year. So I want to give you guys my 2025 goals as well. Kayak wise, I have a few trophies behind me. I have the Butch Ward, which was, where's Butchie? This one was hard as hell because I had to beat jet boat guys to get this one. But besides that, I have won trophies out of a boat. And I have not yet won one out of a kayak, and that's pissing me the hell off because I came close last year. And so I thought 2024, I was just going to really focus on kayaking, do more boat stuff in 2025. But then I got so close so many times to winning a kayak event, and I didn't. And so I'm really pursuing that in 2025. I got to win out of a kayak. I always had a goal of wanting to also, on the boat side, winning a BFL. But BFLs suck now. Like, I don't know if it still has the same allure to say, like, if I want to try to win a BFL, it's just for the bragging rights of a BFL, but I just don't know if I want an ABA Open. So I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what tour to fish next year. And I probably will just be jackpotting wherever I can with a boat and just exploring. And then in 2026, make a run. Because in 2026, what I really want to do is fish the elite solo division. I want to put my name in for that for Steve Camp's solo thing. Then that'd be for the 2026. So 2025, I want to go explore and try to fish it out of a boat as much as possible, just different places. I want to fish kind of Wingo, never fished that before. I want to go fish some of these electric motor only lakes. I really just want to knock off as bunch of these places on my list as possible. And then in 2026, start fishing bass boat tournaments a lot more aggressively. I don't know. I think that's kind of like my plan. And I want to catch a 6-pound smallmouth out of Virginia or Maryland. And I want to go up to Susquehanna. I want to catch one there, and I think I can. I think the Shenandoah or the Upper Potomac has a 5 to 6 pound smallmouth. I think it has a 6-pound smallmouth in it. I really do. And I want to be the one that catches that thing. So that's something else that I'm going to have on the list. I don't know. That's pretty much 2024 was a great year. I can't complain at all. Channel did good. I got to meet a lot of people, and that's the other thing I want to do too. My day job is a blessing because I'm fully remote, but it sucks because I don't have a lot of days off work. So I have to pick and choose, but I want to fish with more of you. I want to go out and fish more. But I just got to pick my days because everyone's like, come out in the middle of the week. And it's like, I would really love to, but I am not doing this full time. If I was doing it full time, I would. So I'm going to try to get out and fish more. I want to fish at least 80 to 100 days next year. Would be great. Probably won't be able to, but we can try. And then the next year, just add 10 days to it. So I'm trying to go the SB route and eventually go full time, but we'll see. We'll see when we get there. And that's, I'm trying to think what else we got. Yeah. I mean, those are kind of my goals. What are everyone else's goals? We got Randy, come to Philpott. I want to fish Philpott. Okay. Listen, Randy, you and so many people fought for that lake, and I commend you for your passion for Philpott. And so I have to go down there and fish it with you because so many of you stepped up and said Philpott should not be where it is on the list. So yes. Chris. Yes, Chris. And I also need to get you on the show as well, dude. That's also something in 2025. Get you on the show to talk about your guide service and the Potomac River, what's going on with that. And if I'm not mistaken, I think McCluskey won a tournament. Shocking. I think he won a tournament yesterday. I think he won it at Chickahominy Lake, I think is where he was fishing. Let me double check that. I put that in my notes. That's something to talk about potentially. Yeah, Chickahominy Lake. So yeah, I think he won Chickahominy Lake. That guy's on a freaking tear. Good Lord. And then I'm also going to try to get on one of the OG people for the good old for the good old, what are I going to do with that? Occoquan Reservoir. The person that started the Occoquan Reservoir tournaments, I'm going to try to get one of them on, them OGs, because I think that would be a lot of fun as well. So, yeah, so many things to be getting on here with this. I'm really excited. What do you guys have? What do you guys want to see in 2025? Is there anything in particular you would like to see? Is there any goals, hopes, and dreams that you have that you actually want to try to obtain? Let me know down in the comment section below before we'll be getting out of here shortly. I'm going to go through the comment section here. Making sure. Thomas, are you going to be at the Richmond Fishing Expo? I am. We're going to be booth 103 at the Richmond Fishing Expo. We are going to be hooked up to Richmond Fishing Expo's social media and Raleigh Fishing Expo. We're going to be at the Raleigh Fishing Expo as well. Yes, you're getting in my boat this year, Tom. Yep, Tyler, I need to go fishing with you too. I got so many people. Yes, I need to get out there with you. Catch a smaller, bigger than 6 inches. I need to do that as well. But no, I really want to catch a 6-pound smallmouth. That's part of my goals this coming year. I don't know. There's no tournament trail right now when it comes to the thing that NVKBA. The reason I liked NVKBA so freaking much was it's in the area, it's local, so I don't have to travel, but it had a good blend. It wasn't going to the Potomac 78 times or Lake Anna 78 times. It was 2 titles, a couple of lakes, smallmouth water. It was a good blend. I'm going to cherry pick Mid-Atlantic too. And I'm trying to find a boat series that'll do that as well. I'm going to fish in Antietam a little bit for the tournaments I can do, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Tyler Hypole and Timmy Sharp are beasts. Yeah, they are. They're absolutely freaking just smoking it on Lake Anna right now. That's the one thing I'd like to see too, is Lake Anna getting some more bigger events. That would be kind of nice. Maybe they'll never get a BFL, though there should be at least one BFL there. You could do it in early March before it gets crazy, but it would be nice to see another big event actually held there. Finn Cook says, Burke Lake Muskie is my goal for 2025. Catching a muskie out of the Shenandoah would be awesome for me. Like my personal thing, that'd be fun to do. But Burke Lake, I hear that there's muskie in there, and I think I know somebody that has actually caught one before, but I got to double check with that. And then we do have a Basscast radio show. I think we're doing Wednesday night, and I think we have a cool guest for that one as well. So I'll let you guys know. If you guys don't know, I somehow became the one of the guest hosts of Brian's The Basscast podcast as well. So I'm all over God's earth. I love it. I'm blessed. It's been enjoyable. Definitely want to try to find balance with doing all this stuff and fishing more in 2025 and 2026. 2026 is going to be the super fishy year, and 2025 is getting ready for 2026. And I would really, really, really like to survive this expo season. I think we have Raleigh, Richmond, Augusta County, and I think Dale City. I think we're doing 4 this year, is what my wife said, because we'll die if I do any more. Not that I'll be okay, but everyone else around me would probably like fall down exhausted if I did any more stuff like that. So just to keep that in mind. Finn says, the Shenandoah definitely has a lot more than Burke. I've caught some good ones there. The Shenandoah, they shocked it. There are some 50 inchers still in the Shenandoah. They also will probably, there's a potential. I'm going to say that I said this, not the biologist, but there's a chance for a new state record walleye to come out of the Shenandoah. The walleye fishing is getting that freaking good in the Shenandoah and the Upper Potomac for that matter. So like the fishing in a lot of these rivers, dude, is coming on, and it's so cool. It's coming on when kayak fishing is getting more popular, because you're going to be able to see some of these rivers that you never heard of pop, and they wouldn't have done that before until kayak fishing got big. Bruce says, I've caught one smallmouth a dink, and I have been to Smith Mountain Lake and caught only largemouth. Dude, you got to come up to me. Shenandoah, Upper James. Upper James is really good, especially near Lynchburg and going up to the Jackson. Dude, tons of smallmouth there. The Murray, whatever you want to call it. That one's absolutely banger as well. I still remember the ABA series fishing there, old school, and he's talking about Lake Anna. Yeah, Lake Anna deserves a big tournament just once. If the South Holston can have a BFL, Lake Anna can have one. I think South Holston is 6,000 acres. That's the whole damn lake is 6,000 acres. I'm gonna double check that. I know we talked about it in the episode that's going to drop on January 1st, but let me. South Holston Lake. South Holston Lake, BA. There we go. South Holston is. Yeah, that's about that big. All right, cool. It's 7,000 acres. The Tennessee Valley Authority Reservoir covering over 7,500 acres. So the public side of Lake Anna is 9,000, I think. So Lake Anna is bigger than South Holston, and almost every year South Holston has a BFL. So yeah, I call bullshit on that, but it's more like the county doesn't want it there, so there's nothing you can do about that. I keep seeing big walleye on Shenandoah when I'm muskie fishing. Haven't caught one yet, though. There are so many people that reported that fished this past tournament, that they were fishing it and they saw big ass muskie. The Shenandoah will give up some massive muskie, but muskie anglers don't talk. Muskie anglers are like CIA agents, man. They're among us, but you'll never know it. They are very, very hush hush about that. So we shall see about that. That's going to be, that'll be interesting to see what happens there in 2025. I'm going to go through all these super chats here, and then I think we can call for this show. This was just a meet and greet. This was just going to be a chill talking show. Again, guys, I think this will be something here is next week. There is going to be no show next week, no live show next week on Monday, because I will be packing up everything and getting ready for Raleigh Fishing Expo. I'll be heading down. Then starting Friday morning, let me make sure I get this right before I start talking. Yeah, all right, so here we go. Friday, January 10th, we are going to be live at the Raleigh Fishing Show down in North Carolina. We're going to be going booth to booth, giving you guys some information, and we're just going to be, randomly doing live stuff on the 10th, the 11th, and the 12th. The 13th, if I have enough life in me, I will do a Monday Night Live on the 13th. And then 18th, 19th, or the 17th, 18th, and 19th is the Richmond Fishing Expo. That Friday morning, we'll be up, and I'll be walking booth to booth again. And then the 20th is Martin Luther King, and then we'll do another Monday Night Live, hopefully, to kind of recap the 2 weeks. And then I'll probably go into a coma for a couple of days to kind of recover from that. I have a ton of episodes saved up that we need to do. I have a great episode with Jody Queen. I have a Susquehanna River Fishery Report. I have Travis Eden of Kingfisher Guide Services that is going to be coming your way. So there's going to be a lot of good ones there. Beaver Hall, I got 12 years of records on the Upper Potomac. The river has improved 10,000 since. As long as we can avoid floods, the Potomac will continue to thrive. Dude, fingers crossed, Beaver. I really hope that that's the case. It's such a great place. It's fishing in my limited amount of time, it seems like it's fishing better. And I've hosted 2 tournaments. I've been around here, and I can just anecdotally say that as well, that it's definitely doing that. New River muskie are banging. New River is not fair. New River's cheating. It's almost like a stocked muskie fishery. That place is so freaking good, and no one talks about that thing as well. It's absolutely insane. But yeah, and then so what is everyone else's New Year's resolutions? Anyone else have some? Before we go here, Michael says the sockeye in Lake Anna are growing exponentially. Seen several 4+ pounders. Yeah, the sockeye is weird. Why they put them in there with the white bass or the swiper. How much will that affect the largemouth fishing in years to come? Will it affect it at all? Who knows? Like, we keep adding these extra species when it's like, does anyone actually fish for them? But I'm not a biologist. I am not that intelligent. Maybe there's a reason they should be in there. Maybe there's a reason that we would want them all in there. We got Steve back here again saying happy birthday. Well, happy birthday, Steve. Happy birthday, because him and I share the same birthday is why he's saying that. So good for you, bud. And hopefully I'll be seeing you around here at the expos as well if you're going to be down at Richmond and Raleigh. And then beat Matt, win a tournament, expos. Yeah, Bruce, you've had a heck of a run here. You got to beat Mr. McCluskey. You won a tournament, and then you get to go to expos. Try to and fish the Potomac and the Shenandoah. I can't spell. I can't spell either. I can't read some of the times. It's a miracle I can get through anything right here. Bucktail says his 2025 resolution is become proficient with electronics. That's my resolution. Yeah, I want to get better with my electronics, but I feel like that's almost like to me, getting better with electronics is kind of like just saying, like, I'm going to every year become a better person. Every year I want to get better with my electronics. I'm going to hopefully get a bigger screen for my electronics. I think that'll help me a lot. I know Mr. McCluskey's always like, use the green palette. It's the best. him and so many people was like, yeah, use the green palette. And I use the green palette. And it's like, I can't see shit. So I must be colorblind. There's something wrong with these goddamn eyes of mine. So I finally decided, like, I'm going to use a different palette that I can see with them. And it helped changing palettes a little bit for my stupid eyes. But I'm going to get a bigger screen. I get why you want a bigger screen. It does help a lot. It's like the same thing with like perspective mode. A lot of my friends, like, perspective mode is awesome. It's like, yeah, but I have like a 10-inch screen. I can't see shit. And I have this massive 15-inch Hummingbird up front for 360. And 360 with a 15-inch screen really pops that image out. It makes it a lot easier to see. So I think what I just need to do is have like two 15-inch screens up front just so I can see it. And it's not like, oh, you're rich. It's like, no, I'm old. And if anyone gets mad at you at the front, just that's your retort. Oh, we have money. No, it's not that. I'm old. I can't see shit. If a guy's got a 22-inch screen up front, that doesn't mean he has money. That means you should be afraid of driving in front of him because he might not be able to see you because he's blind. So that's what I've learned as I've gotten older. It's not a money thing. It's you're getting old and can't see shit thing. So we've got some other good comments here on Instagram. Let me pull up the old Instagram here. Make sure I get these all read out as well. My new goal is to learn a new technique. Ooh, all right. Beach Brum Rentals. I like that. Okay. So learning a new technique. You're gonna laugh. I want to get better with the chatterbait. There's this guy called Chun who beats the shit out of me every tournament I fish against him with a stupid chatterbait. I don't have confidence in a chatterbait. I don't like the way it feels. I'm just, hey, we're going to be intimate here. We're just, you, me, and the 100 people watching right now. I don't like throwing a chatterbait. I don't know why. I think it's because it vibrates so much. I just don't, it's confidence. I feel like when I'm throwing a swim jig or something like that, there's so little vibration on the swim jig. It's like crawling a swim bait. And I can feel everything. I can feel blades of grass. I can tell you what type of rock is there. I can tell you everything if I throw a swim jig or if I'm bottom bumping a swim bait. I can tell you every single thing about the body of water. I know when a fish breathes on it. When I throw a chatterbait, I don't feel like I have that ability to just to let that be my eyes underwater. It will hit something, and when I hit it, it's like, was that grass? Was that a rock or a stump? I don't know. Personally, that's just something I need to get better with. And I threw it a little bit. Like, if it wasn't for the chatterbait, I wouldn't have gotten 12th place or 11th place in the Shenandoah tournament, kayak tournament. Like, the chatterbait mattered. But it just felt like I'm just winding a rattle trap. And I don't like winding rattle traps or lipless space. I like to crawl them. And as soon as I feel something different, I can give it that little pop, So I don't know. I need to get better with I feel like I'm just announcing like I'm an alcoholic here when I say that. But yeah, I need to get better with chatterbait. I really suck with that. And then I'm also worried that once I am good with the chatterbait, it's like, great, now pick between the chatterbait and the swim jig. So that's a whole fucking mess. And casting distance. I want to start slowly adjusting the length of my rods so I can get more casting distance. I am so big on casting distance because of fishing up here at Big Slack and these super clear, highly pressured smallmouth and largemouth where you got to make those longer casts. And the power of finesse fishing. I mean, this is a whole tangent. When you're fishing Big Slack and places like this up here where it's insanely pressured, the fish know that you're there. If a boat comes by, your spot's ruined. It's not because they were fishing, it's because the fish get scared of it and they move off. When the conditions get like this, and you see them in 20 feet of water, you have to throw a weightless bait at them, at least for where I'm at. I don't know why. I just learned that. If you throw a drop shot or anything with any kind of weight, they spook. They don't come up. They just leave. And I started to learn to throw damn near weightless Neko rig stuff in 20, 30 feet of water and just letting it flutter all the way down. And it worked. But I also learned with that, you still need the casting distance because there's the drift. These are swollen rivers, basically. So there's always current. So if you're pegging a cast at 80 feet with weight, it'll go to the bottom, but the current's going to hit it and drag it. Okay, so you can kind of adjust for that when you peg a drop shot or something like that, or a weighted Neko rig. But if you're doing weightless, well, you can't throw it 60 feet for a 60-foot bait. You can't throw it 80 feet. You have to throw it 110, 120 feet because as that thing is drifting, you need it to drift and get into his strike zone And so you're having to throw it like 110, 120 feet weightless. So I kind of learned like I need a bigger rod. If I can get away with an 8-foot spinning rod, potentially maybe, just so I can get those longer casts, that thing can settle down. But I shit you not, for some reason up here, sometimes of the year, that's what they want. They want that weightless thing just barely moving as it flutters down, and they can see it, and they'll come up and they'll take it, and you'll know. And that's one thing I learned is this past year with Fort Fishing Center. You'll know when they're on something. They'll tell you. Like the scope is super easy. Like there's no science to the fact that they're going to tell you whether they like it or not. And it's crazy when I figured that out. And I tossed out that weightless, that damn near weightless Hellgrammite of all fucking things. And the fish that would spook didn't, and they just come off the bottom and just slowly go up to it and eat it. And I was like, oh my God, I figured something out. So, but anyway, yeah. So that's a whole sidetrack there that one of you guys got me off of, and I really appreciate you for doing that. Buckfish, I've started gaining some confidence in the chatter. I did real good on the swim jig this past season. Big swim and glides are on my list. Yeah, the big glide is hard. It's like dating a woman with problems. Is it worth it? Because once you get entangled with it, it's hard to get away. And that's what glide bait fishing is. It's like dating a very high maintenance woman. It's just basically is. Once you get embroiled in it, it's really hard to put it down. And that's glide bait fishing. And why couldn't that be a slogan for Buka baits? My God. Can't wait for the stealth blade season. The stealth blade, a scrounger head. That was the other thing too. The scrounger head. I forget who it was. I think it was Ace or Boogie or something that showed me like throwing these insanely big chatterbait scrounger heads for fish deep, where he would use a scrounger, basically like a scrounger chatterbait kind of head, but it was like on an ounce or a half ounce head. So he could chuck it out there, get it down deep, and then just burn it past him. That blew my mind watching that happen. More 10 pounders Lake Anna or Occoquan Reservoir, if and only if there were both same acreage. What you think? I mean, based on the way you're stating that, the res. Ask Tyler, he's in the chat. Ask McCluskey, SB. The res is special. It just is. It's a special place, dude. You legitimately can, if you go to Lake Anna, you hope to catch an 8 or a 7. On the res, from late March to April, you need to catch a 7 or an 8 to have a chance to sniff a check, period. To sniff a top 5. I didn't believe it until I went there and I fished 2 tournaments. And I was in my stupid ass Ranger with electric motor with this guy named Phil. And we caught close to 30 pounds all on a glide bait. And we didn't get in the top 5, I think, that day. It was stupid. It was absolutely stupid. It's a great, great place. It really is. And I don't think that place could ever get too pressured because of the motor restrictions. When you have a lake as big as the res with a motor restriction, it makes it really annoying to people and they don't want to go there. Just to be honest, when you have a lake that's close to over 1,000 acres, you don't, if you have a Ranger like I do, you can't really fish it with just a trolling motor. And so I wouldn't want to go there. And if you have a little electric motor only boat, you really can't go far unless you have a really pimped out one. So I think because of its wonky motor restrictions, it helps protect it. And then you have the gay rowboaters. They also protect it because you don't want to have your nice boat hit by those retards when they're just backpedaling right into you. And so all those factors, I think, laid into where, like, even though it's got great fishing, and I talk about it all the time, it's never going to become overly pressured. You know, Mooney might have a chance to get more pressured because it's open 24/7. There's no rowers. It's smaller than the res. You can't use a 9.9 there, so it's just trolling motor only. But I feel like Mooney has a better chance of getting pressured. The thing, though, with that area of the country, which is interesting, is you have Hunting Run, you have Able, you have Nye. And if Hunting Run, let's say next year Hunting Run puts out a couple of dirty 30s and a 12-pounder drops out of Hunting Run. It could. All of a sudden, Mooney won't get pressure. Because Hunting Run is so close to Mooney, people will shift over. If Bass Hunter Bass Lunker, I apologize if I butchered your name. If he starts going there instead of Mooney and he just starts smoking them like Mexican sized bass, the pressure will come off of Mooney and everyone will come to Hunting Run. And then Mooney will breathe. And that's what's so nice about having all those lakes is you can't fish all of them. And once one gets super hot with social media, people will flock to that one and the other ones will be chill and there won't be any pressure. That's what I saw with Nye when I fished Nye. Like Nye's boat ramp is horrendous. I mean, it looks like an Afghan ditch. It is so terrible. It is a horrific boat ramp. But dear God, there's a lot of bass in that place. There's a lot of bass in Nye, a lot. You might lose your trailer backing up in there, but there is a lot of bass in Nye. So yeah, there's so many little lakes like that that I think people are getting more bold about posting on social media. They're learning that it's not the end of the world to post a nice fish. And I think in a group chat that I am, there's this like almost 8-pounder caught from some random tidal river. Like the amount of tidal rivers too that are just turning out insane fish. Like, have you ever heard of the Roanoke River? I didn't know that until I started talking to biologists. Like that was bigger than Chad's like, oh yeah, there's good fish in there. Back Bay will be a thing when the elites come there potentially. There are so many stupid little rivers that have a shit ton of big largemouth. There are so many little lakes. Again, I can't keep hitting that over the head again. Go to all these different places. Go try them and experiment. The problem is you need a boat that can do it. Little Creek, Little Seneca, they're just big enough where it's annoying in my Ranger boat to go out there. Now, if you have a kayak with a torpedo and maybe some scope, boom, you're set. You can kind of fish that. But again, if you're talking about like Little Creek Reservoir, and the reservoir that it's on the tip of my tongue near Williamsburg, near Jesus Christ, what was the first settlement in Virginia? Jamestown. Look at that. I'm not retarded. Jamestown, right down there, there's 2 electric motor only lakes. They're pretty big. And so unless you have a pimped out electric motor only boat, it's just annoying. It's super duper duper hard to go fish those things. Yeah. Waller's Mill. Waller's Mill is a good one. You know what? I just realized I have Google Maps. Hold on. And I might actually just steal Shane Flint. Shane Flint is going down to Tricked Out Tens, I think, in Norfolk, and he's getting like a Tesla put on the back of his aluminum boat. I might just go dump in with him and go test out some of these places because there are so many cool ones. Let me pull it up here of what I'm talking about because I'm literally having a freaking moment and a half here. Here you go, guys. Go. So you got Little Creek Reservoir is one of them that I was talking about, and then Discord. Discord. Yeah, it's like Discord. Discuss Reservoir. Like these 2 right here are absolutely so freaking cool. I've been and fished this one time, and it was terrible because I had a Ranger boat and I couldn't fish the whole thing. But look at that thing. Look at how many little creeks there are. Little creek arms. And apparently there's good walleye in there, sawguy, which is insane. So yeah, you get places like that where if you have a big boat, you can't fish it effectively. You know, even if you could put it in there, it's annoying as hell. So yeah, there are those. Now, my sleeper pick for 2025 is Beaver Dam Reservoir in Leesburg. Sorry. If you don't know, Beaver Dam Reservoir has been closed for the past 1,000 years. It's been insane because they were working on the dam. Then they just felt like it. They shut that thing down and they lowered the water level to like half mast and they worked on the dam for a long time. And then what they did is they raised the water back up and flooded all of the brush, all of the grass, everything. They just flooded it back up there. And then they let it sit there for a year or 2. And then they finally opened up their weird boat ramp, but they call it a boat ramp. It's not a boat ramp. Their kayak slip for the public. Now, it is closed from like November to the last week of March, I think it is when that park is closed. But that place hasn't had any fishing pressure really the last 3 or 4 years. There's a shit ton of brush in there. It hasn't been fished. That's a place where a glide bait might get right in a hurry. It really might, because it sets up kind of like the res, I think, where there's a lot of brush and stuff under the surface that they'll sit in and you can throw a glide. The problem is it's probably going to be kayaking because unless you have a secret place you could put a John boat on there, I don't know how you're going to do it. That place though, I could see some just disturbing size largemouth coming out of. Absolutely disturbing. Again, that's right in my hometown of Percival, Leesburg area. So I think that could be crazy. That could get real crazy. So I'm really hoping McCluskey and some other people get out there and smoke that place. And then Sleater's Lake. Sleater's Lake, I have a feeling there will be an 11-pound, 12-pound bass coming out of Sleater's this year, 2025. Allegedly, I've heard rumors of 11-pounders being caught out of there. There's a kayak tournament that'll take place, I think, in May, and Sleater's is on the list. We're hitting it at that time of year where there could be a big one out of Sleater's. There are big ones in there. They're just very, very educated, but it's a small lake, and if you got scope at the right time of year, you can catch the 10 that's in there easily. And there is one. It might just be one, but there is one in there. John can probably, if he's in the chat, he can definitely clarify that, but that, yeah, Beaver and Sleater's will show off this year, I think. Georgetown's another one I want to go to. Lake Culpeper. Almost bought a house in Culpeper last year. That didn't work out. But Culpeper Lake, I think there's some good ones in there. Nothing like the res, but yeah, I don't know, dude. If I wasn't married and I didn't have a horse and I had a job that paid better, I would have an electric motor only boat, a kayak, and then I'd have my Ranger pimped out actually, so I could just fish all over the place and just fish all these places, because that to me is such a weird draw for me mentally. Is like, do I want to fish tournaments and do the whole go bass opens, or do I just want to see if I can knock all these reservoirs off and just kind of have that as a bucket list, fish every single one? That's kind of cool. That kind of scratches a weird itch in my brain of trying to fish every place possible as public in Virginia and Maryland. There's just so much water. The Jackson River, like, I mean, there's so much freaking water here that you can fish. Before then I could pivot and then start fishing Roanoke Rapids. I want to fish that. The Roanoke River I want to fish. I never want to have to fish Kerr again, but I'll probably have to start fishing that again. So that's what I'm going to probably do, is I'm going to fish Bugs Island this coming year too. But yeah, so guys, I've just been rambling like a madman. I apologize for that. Sometimes that's what I do when I get on here. We got a question here for Mike. Can you imagine Lake Manassas been closed since Lake Manassas is a hell of a story. I need to go find it. Maybe I'll re-upload this as an episode, just to re-upload and publish again. But Charlie Taylor used to write for the newspaper and do the fishing reports forever. And he talked about how he got a cease and desist letter, and that the people that run Lake Manassas were going to have him arrested if he started talking about Lake Manassas. And they still, to this day, allegedly spend $90,000 a year to keep people off that lake. It's insane. Lake Manassas is a beautiful place. It's what I think is going to happen to Lake Anna in 20 years. I think Lake Anna will become fully private if the people around there have their way. I don't want it. I'm a pessimist. I just think that's what's going to happen, especially when you have Trump building a golf course and, what the hell is it? There's a water park going into it, Lake Anna. Like, it's just getting so expensive there. It's insane. Allegedly, that's where I learned how to fish. Allegedly. Dude, now I fished Sleater's when it was illegal to fish it too. Back in the day, like Sleater's Lake is where I learned how to fish. I remember having a little LMS Lowrance. It was I think it was the colored one, with an external puck on a little riveted tracker boat, and that's where I really learned about coordinating and fishing offshore. And like, we'd put waypoints on the humps out at Sleater's, and then I learned how to fish offshore there. God damn, those are some memories fishing that place. And then I fished Lake Frederick, and then I realized I hated that place. It was really hard to fish Lake Frederick. I caught 2 nice fish there from the time I was a child with a boat until I was like 16, 17. Not a lot of big fish coming out of there. Dragging a jig at night was about all you could do. And then scope came around. Then you realize where all those effers were in that lake, just swimming around the fishbowl. So yeah, it is that place is, damn dude, that place is hard. Let's see. Live chat froze up. Oh, that's good to know that my chat froze. Hold on 1 second, guys. Sorry about that. Apparently the chat froze, so I just reshuffled it. Hopefully that helped it out. We have Nova Bass Assassin. I've seen it 2 double digits out of Sleeters. Beaver Dam is horrible and nobody should fish it. Tee-hee. Yeah, I 100% agree with you there that Beaver Dam will probably pump out a couple. And again, Beaver Dam is also one of those places I don't know how pressured it could potentially get because it's such a wonky the parking lot situation there. It's because again, it's like if you have a lake where it's like you have to literally be one of the first people there because there's no places to park. How pressured can it get? Potentially pressured? I don't know. That's a whole interesting conversation that we could have philosophically. We got John. Oh, John just texted me. Your live chat froze up. Oh, sorry about that, boss. Thanks for letting me know. Hopefully that works out better. I'm gonna get new internet. Oh, something else I'm gonna be doing. Hopefully, this was a big announcement. I'll tease it. I am going to be getting Elon Musk's Starlink at some point in 2025. I'm getting it so I can start doing live fishing days off of the Ranger boat and potentially the kayak because I'm not going to be able to. I'm not doing a lot of bass boat tournaments in 2025. I thought the Ranger boat is a perfect platform that I can convert a cooler to hold the antenna and stuff, and we can do live fishing streams. And now some of you will be upset because I might be using scope, but it'll still be fun to get out there and we can talk fishing, and I'll have my ability to have an iPad at the front and I'll have a phone hooked up in the back so we can do that. So hopefully that'll work out, knock on wood, but it's not too expensive. So we'll see how that goes as well. We got a couple more questions and we'll call it a night here. I want to go up to Kurtz again. Caught some big bass there, not huge, but deep, 20 plus feet. Yes, that would be Curtis. That's another fun place to go fishing, dude. That's a really, really fun place as well to go fishing. I got a couple more chats here. Let me take a look. See. And, oh, dude, I got caught up on all the super chats. That is awesome. I think I did. Sweet. All right. Awesome stuff. And then, yep, perfect. All right, cool. Yep, I got caught up on everything. Sweet. So guys, again, just to let you know, the Raleigh Fishing Expo is going to be Friday, January 10th through the 12th. And then the very following weekend, Friday, January 17th through the 19th is the Richmond Fishing Expo. So I will be in Raleigh and Richmond. I'll be running the social media for both events. I'll be going booth to booth on Friday, interviewing everyone, letting people get a vibe for it. We'll also be having meet and greets where I'll just be chilling there. You can come up to me. If you want a plaque, if you won an award at the fishing tournament that we just held, if you would like to meet me in Richmond, I will have it right there for you if that works. And then I can also, via PayPal or Venmo, I'll send you out the money for your winnings. And then the next tournament starts January 25th. That's a Saturday, January 25th. That is the Frostbite Frenzy Fishing Tournament that will go from January all the way through mid-March. I'll be doing a prize for overall winner for largemouth, overall winner for smallmouth, and of course, biggest smallmouth in Pennsylvania, biggest smallmouth in Maryland and Virginia. So a lot of the structure is the same. The biggest difference is we will have an overall winner for the smallmouth bracket now. So that'll be a lot of fun. So those guys that finished 4th and 5th that were just fishing for smallmouth, all of a sudden we'll have some winners there too. So that's going to be a lot of fun as well. Take a watch out for that on Patreon. If you want to go be a Patreon member, you're more than welcome to. There is only 35 more Patreon spots available. Once they're filled, I am shutting off the Weekend Warrior package to further people, and I'm not going to have Patreon open for anyone else for a month or two. And when it reopens, it will be a little bit more expensive, but you can lock in your rates now, and you'll be able to fish the tournaments that we have on the schedule as well. So I will see you guys later. If you have any questions, feel free to email me at fishingthedmv@gmail.com or reach out to me on Facebook and Instagram. Have a wonderful, happy new year. If you're fishing the Lake Anna tournament on January 1st, good luck. And I'll talk to you guys later on Fishing the DMV. Happy New Year. Bye.
You're listening to Fishing the DMV with your hosts, Thomas Ahrens and Jared Mounts. Fishing the DMV is brought to you by Jake's Bait and Tackle.